Good morning, class. Today we're going to be working on solving problems with unlike mixed numbers, and we have addition and subtraction problems here, so make sure you pay attention to your signs. Our focus again is going to be on getting a common denominator so you can either add or subtract these mixed numbers. We'll go ahead and start with number 1, and we're doing the same thing that we've been doing, but they're lined up differently. We've been seeing them written as a number row across of a piece of paper, and now today we're going to see them written vertically. And so number 1 reads 7 1/2 plus 6 5/8. We have to get a common denominator again, so we can look at our denominators here, and we have 8 and 2, and we know that 2 is a factor of 8, so we can multiply 2 times 4 to get 8. Anything we do to the denominator, we do to the numerator, and we can create our new number. So our whole number stays the same, 7, and then we have 4 times 1, which is equal to 4, and 2 times 4, which is equal to 8, and then we're going to add it to 6 5/8. Now 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. Our denominator stays the same, which is 8, and 7 plus 6 is equal to 13. Well, we have an improper fraction here. When we look at 9/8, remember that's an improper fraction because the top number is larger than the bottom number. So we're going to take 1 whole out of this, and in this fraction, 1 whole would be 8/8. So we're going to subtract that 8/8 right out of that fraction, and it's going to become 1/8. Your fraction is going to become 1/8, and you're going to add this 1 whole to your 13. So your answer is going to be 14 1/8. Let's go ahead and look at number 2. Number 2 reads 2 3/5 plus 5 1/4. And here, 5, if we look at the denominators, 5 and 4, 4 is not a factor of 5, so we have to find the least common denominator, and that's going to be multiplying them by each other. 20 is going to be our lowest common denominator, so we're going to multiply this top and bottom by 4, and down here we're going to multiply top and bottom by 5, so we can get a denominator of 20. Bring over your whole number. 3 times 4 is equal to 12, and 5 times 4 is equal to 20. Bring over your whole number again, and we have 5 times 1 is equal to 5, and 5 times 4 is equal to 20. Now we have a common denominator, so we can simply add 12 plus 5 is equal to 17, and our denominator stays the same, so 17/20. This is not an improper fraction, so you're good to go there. And 5 plus 2 is equal to 7, so your answer is 7 17/20. I am doing the work off to the left here because my pen is large, but if you would make sure to please show your work on your paper, that way if we have any issues or you're struggling with something, I'll be able to see where the problem occurred and hopefully figure out what we're doing so we can get them corrected. So make sure, please, you show your work. Let's go ahead and skip down to a subtraction problem. We'll start with number 4. We have 3 4/15 minus 1 1/5. And we can see that our denominators here, we have 15 and we have 5. And 5 is a factor of 15. So I know that I can multiply 5 times 3 to get 15. And so I need to do the same thing to the numerator that I do to the denominator. So I multiply both by 3. First thing I'm going to do is bring over my whole number, which is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. And 5 times 3 is 15. And then I'm going to bring over my other one just to line my numbers up. So 3 4/15. And in this problem, I have 4/15 minus 3/15. And so because my top number here is larger, my numerator up here is larger, I don't have to borrow. So 4 minus 3 is 1. My numerator or my denominator stays the same, which is 15, and 3 minus 1 is 2. So your answer is 2 1/15. Let's go ahead and look at number 5 together. We have 9 5/6 minus 4 1/8. And our two denominators are 6 and 8. And our lowest common denominator, or the lowest common multiple here, is going to be 24. And I know that 6 times 4 is equal to 24, and then I have to multiply the top by 4 as well. And I know that 8 times 3 is equal to 24, and so I have to multiply top and bottom by 3. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring my whole number over first. There's my 9. 5 times 4 is equal to 20, and 6 times 4 is equal to 24. I'm going to bring my whole number over, and I have 4, and I have 1 times 3 is equal to 3, and 8 times 3 is equal to 24. And now I can complete my subtraction. Here we don't have to regroup again or borrow because 20 is larger than 3. So 20 minus 3 is equal to 17 over 24, and 9 minus 4 is equal to 5. So your answer is 5 and 17/24. Please again, reminder just to make sure you show your work. We'll go ahead and look at number 7 together. And number 7 reads 8 and 1/6 minus 2 and 7/12. Minus 2 and 7/12. Same thing, I know that 6 is a factor of 12 because 6 times 2 is equal to 12. So anything I do to the top or to the bottom, I have to do to the top. I'm going to first bring over my whole number, which is 8. 1 times 2 is equal to 2, and 6 times 2 is equal to 12. And I'm going to bring over my other number here so I can line it up. And I have 8 and 2/12 minus 2 and 7/12. Well, I can see here that 2, our numerator up here, is less than 7, so I'm going to have to borrow. And I'm going to have to borrow from my whole number here, which is 8. And 1 whole in this is going to be equal to 12 over 12. Okay, so 1 whole is 12 over 12. If I borrow from the 8, it then becomes a 7. And I have essentially taken 1 whole out of that, which is 12/12. And I'm going to add that 12/12 here to my 2/12, which is going to give me 14/12. And 14 then minus 7 is equal to 7. My denominator stays the same at 12, and 7 minus 2 is equal to 5. So my answer here is going to be 5 and 7/12. And honestly, the biggest piece for you with ones like that is remembering how to take 1 out, how to regroup. When you're borrowing, what do? And you take 1 whole out and add it. We can go ahead then now and look at number 10. We have some story problems here, and you have, last year my elm tree was 8 and 5/6 feet tall. This year it is 10 and 1/12 feet tall. How much did it grow in 1 year? Well, we're trying to figure out the difference between the first measurement and the second measurement after 1 year. So it's going to be a subtraction problem. And so when you show your work and you line it up, I want you to line it up vertically like we've been practicing today. So 10 and 1/12 minus 8 and 5/6. And you're going to complete this subtraction problem. Well, you have to first find a common denominator. And I know that 6 is a factor of 12 because 6 times 2 is equal to 12. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 12. First thing I'm going to do is bring over my whole number so I don't forget it. 5 times 2 is equal to 10, and 6 times 2 is equal to 12. And now I have 10 and 1/12 minus 8 and 10/12. Well, here's another situation where we're going to have to borrow because our numerator here, the 1, is smaller than our numerator here of 10. And so we're going to have to borrow. Our 10 is going to become a 9, and I'm going to add 12/12 to my 1/12, which is going to give me 13/12. And now I can complete my subtraction. 13 minus 10 is equal to 3/12. And 9 minus 8 is equal to 1. You could stop there and you would get your answer correct. 1 and 3/12 feet. Now, you could also reduce that fraction. And if you reduce that fraction, we know that 3 can go into 3 and 3 can go into 12. So your answer is going to be 1. Your whole number stays the same. And 3 can go into 3 once. And 3 can go into 3 or to 12 4 times. And so 1 and 1/4 feet would also be an acceptable answer. So if you don't reduce, that's fine. If you can, great, but you would get credit for either one of those two answers. You can go ahead now and work on numbers 3, 6, 8, 9, 11, and 12 on your own. Please make sure you show your work. That way, if there's an issue, I can better help you. When you have finished, take a picture of your work, attach it to your assignment, and turn it in on Teams. Thank you.